Welcome to the No Views News. This program was created on Tuesday, April 13th, at 8:27 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, by Zeno Reader. There are 714 headlines from 108 feeds we check to build this automated report. Welcome to No Views, daily automated podcast news. The headlines in this super unknown daily news summary do not imply fact-checking or endorsement of ideas. The first headlines are from the current most popular news site, Yahoo News, with 175 million estimated monthly unique visitors. COVID vaccine side effects, what to know and why you shouldn't worry. Iran to enrich uranium to 60% in response to apparent Israeli attack. Moderna says its COVID-19 vaccine has not led to blood clots following J&J reports. Court rejects appeal of killer of 3 in home invasion. Minnesota mayor says police officer who fatally shot Daunte Wright should be fired and face full accountability. Estate agent's high-tech house tour exposes personal data. New York to replace today's J&J vaccine appointments with Pfizer after FDA recommendation. 13 investigations, no court-martials. Here's how the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps quietly discharged white supremacists. Analysis: Iran's powerful guard faces scrutiny after attacks. Officer who shot and killed Daunte Wright identified as Kim Potter. The next headlines are from the second most popular news website at this time, with 150 million unique monthly visitors, Google News. Maine CDC reports increase of 571 COVID-19 cases, 2 new deaths, WMTW Portland. Nuggets Jamal Murray to undergo MRI after suffering apparent non-contact knee injury versus Warriors, CBS Sports. CDC and FDA recommend U.S. pause use of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine over blood clot concerns, CNN. India reels amid virus surge, affecting world vaccine supply, Associated Press. GOP could edge back from filibuster cliff on hate crimes bill, Politico. Austin announces increase to U.S. military presence in Germany, CNN. Officer identified as a 26-year veteran in fatal police shooting of Daunte Wright, what we know, USA Today. Sony invests $200 more in Fortnite maker Epic Games, Polygon. 300 movie screens in California going dark as owner decides not to reopen The Hill. Microsoft makes the Surface Laptop 4 official, offers choice of AMD or Intel, Ars Technica. The following headlines are from the third most popular news website, with 110 million unique monthly visitors, The Huffington Post. Paula Abdul calls Simon Cowell an STD on American Idol, can't believe I said that. I've been deeply terrified of getting pregnant my entire life, I finally know why. BBC's Prince Philip coverage receives record number of complaints. Rep Mondaire Jones, no reason to work with GOP right now. Mike Pompeo appears to break Fox News ethics rule just days after signing. FDA, CDC recommend pausing use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine due to rare clots. Trevor Noah cuts to truth of cop's mistake shooting of Daunte Wright. What not to say when someone shares their trauma with you. 17 embarrassingly easy ways to turn a sweet potato into a meal. Crock of St. Ex-Fox host Gretchen Carlson rips Fox News over Tucker Carlson. The next headlines are from the fourth most popular news website, with 95 million estimated unique monthly visitors, CNN. Reggae musicians join forces for racial injustice. Baby murdered weeks before a first birthday. Mom indicted in stabbing of 3-year-old neighbor. Woman says insurance won't cover air treatment. Artwork could earn big bucks at rodeo auction. Residents protest plans to remove beavers. Cops say man arrested with 28 bags of cocaine. 2 recent groping incidents reported on trails. Dog gets lots of pets, treats after alerting neighbors to sick owner. Arrest warrant in murder of pregnant girlfriend. The next headlines are from the fifth most popular news website at this time, with 70 million estimated unique monthly visitors, The New York Times. Defense lawyers call their first witnesses in Derek Chauvin trial. Inflation rate rises as the economy reawakens. NFTs are shaking up the art world. Are they also fueling climate change? Bags, bootlegs and art, a quirky communion on Canal Street. How not to get fooled by the new inflation numbers. Why despite everything, you should have kids, if you want them. Andrew Cuomo's white-knuckle ride. U.S. calls for pause on Johnson & Johnson vaccine, complicating rollout. From Serial, the Improvement Association. U.S. to increase military presence in Germany. The following headlines are from the sixth most popular news website, with an estimated 65 million monthly unique visitors, Fox News. DMX's family clears up rumors about funeral, master recordings. Selena Gomez, Jennifer Lopez headline concert to get coronavirus vaccines to poor nations. Woman who fired into Burger King drive-thru window over wait time arrested, report. Meteor blazes across South Florida skies. Johnson & Johnson vaccine pause won't have significant impact on Biden COVID-19 plan, White House. Broadcast networks avoid calling chaos in Minnesota a riot, opting for softer terms. Pennsylvania man arrested in deadly road rage stabbing. Boehner on Fox and Friends, Biden infrastructure bill a new word for the Green New Deal. GOP reps announce constitutional amendment to keep Supreme Court at 9 before it's too late. Jon Stewart continues fight in Washington for vets made sick from burn pit exposure. You are hearing today's top news headlines and more. Today is Tuesday, April 13th. The next headlines are from the seventh most popular news website, with 63 million estimated monthly unique visitors, CBS News. Daunte Wright shooting, how does an officer confuse their taser for a gun? Watch the Derek Chauvin trial live. Pennsylvania officials recapture nearly $800 million in unemployment benefits from fraudsters. New York woman tests positive for COVID after vaccination. Experts say shot minimizes severity of illness. Report, Will Smith movie Emancipation will no longer film in Georgia due to new voting rights bill. Report, Sopranos and Jersey Boys actor Joseph Saravo dies from colon cancer. Stimulus check update, is a fourth relief payment coming? Baseball report, J.D. Martinez, Red Sox on fire. 7 p.m. curfews go into effect for Twin Cities metro area after Daunte Wright shooting death. Matt Del Negro on Showtime City on a Hill, Aldous Hodge carries himself with such gravitas. The next headlines are from the eighth most popular news website, with an estimated 53 million monthly unique visitors, Mail Online, the Daily Mail. Fabulosa cleaning spray explodes into a fireball while mother tidies her living room. Darby racial harassment claim based on man's use of the word color dismissed by tribunal judge. Facebook is testing a video dating app called Spark that cycles users through 4-minute dates. Boris Johnson, David Cameron Greensill lobbying investigation has carte blanche to ask anything. Prince Philip to be buried in lead-lined oak coffin and royal family will wear masks for funeral. COVID UK, NHS Providers Union chief warns lockdown easing could delay ending restrictions for good. The Simpsons star Hank Azaria says he should apologize to every single Indian for voicing Apu. Cold case murder detective search new patch of woodland and hunt for body of Stephen Clark. End of an iconic eyesore, bulldozers trample South London's Elephant and Castle shopping centre. Lonely mother jumped to her death from third-floor window, inquest hears. The following headlines are from the ninth most popular news website, with an estimated 47 million monthly unique visitors, The Washington Post. This is The Washington Post World News Feed. 2 Andean elections reflect an age of global discontent. Russia says troop buildup near Ukraine is a response to NATO. Official, Iran to enrich uranium to 60%, highest level ever. COVID-19 live updates. Pause of J&J vaccine threatens to slow U.S. pandemic progress amid rising caseload. St. Vincent seeks water, funds as volcano keeps erupting. Johnson & Johnson delays vaccine rollout in Europe. Austin, U.S. adds 500 troops in Germany, despite Trump pledge. Japan to release Fukushima nuclear plant water into ocean after treatment. Iran plans major jump in uranium enrichment after Natanz site attack. Australia opts to not purchase Johnson & Johnson vaccine, citing clot concerns. The next headlines are from the 10th most popular news website, which has an estimated 42 million monthly unique visitors, The Guardian. This is The Guardian's U.S. news feed. Iran to boost uranium enrichment levels in wake of Israeli attack. Biden to pay respects to police officer killed in car attack as casket arrives at Capitol, Live. Derek Chauvin trial, defense expected to begin calling witnesses, Live. Coronavirus live news, Johnson & Johnson to proactively delay vaccine rollout in Europe over blood clot reports. Lachlan Murdoch backs Tucker Carlson in white replacement fear over. Libya releases man described as one of world's most wanted human traffickers. I always get fed, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's son backs up his dad in Mourinho's spat. Minneapolis, police and protesters clash for second night over death of Daunte Wright. NATO tells Russia to stop military buildup around Ukraine. Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine to be paused in U.S. over blood clots. The following headlines are from the 12th most popular news website, with an estimated 36 million monthly unique visitors, ABC News. U.S. calls for pause in Johnson & Johnson vaccinations over blood clot concerns. Japan to start releasing Fukushima water into sea in 2 years. Explainer, the law and science behind the CDC's eviction ban. Live, ABC News Live. Putin phone Navalny says he sues prison for withholding Quran. Teen electrocuted during storm was outstanding student. The next headlines are from the 13th most popular news website, with an estimated 35 million monthly unique visitors, the BBC News. Iran Natanz nuclear site suffered major damage, official says. COVID-19, U.S. agencies call for pause in Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Daunte Wright, bodycam footage shows arrest. Vilita bitch, Facebook mistakenly removes French town's page. Daunte Wright shooting, dozens arrested in fresh unrest in Minnesota. Ramadan begins around the world amid COVID restrictions. Nepal rhino numbers rise in exciting milestone. Group S, German far-right group on trial for terror plot. Haiti's Moes won't give up on freeing kidnapped clergy. The Simpsons, Hank Azaria apologizes for voicing Indian character Apu. The following headlines are from the 14th most popular news website, with an estimated 34 million monthly unique visitors, USA Today. Johnson & Johnson pause risks feeding vaccine hesitancy, White House says decision won't have significant impact, live COVID-19 updates. Derek Chauvin trial live, prosecution rests, defense calls first witness, George Floyd's brother shares memories. A venomous snake, with no known anti-venom, bites San Diego Zoo employee. Officer identified as a 26-year veteran in fatal police shooting of Daunte Wright, what we know. NY Botanical Garden hosts Cosmic Kusama exhibit. The Day in Pictures. Showbiz Minute, Pacific Theaters, Weinstein, Kardashian West. Minnesota police say Daunte Wright shooting was due to accidental discharge. My heart is literally broken into 1,000 pieces, Daunte Wright's mother speaks out. The next headlines are from the 15th most popular news website, with an estimated 35.5 million monthly unique visitors, the LA Times. LA pauses use of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. LAUSD slow, cautious reopening shows the influence of the teachers union but has critics. Mission revival, Craftsman, storybook, LA's home styles explained. When LAUSD reopens schools, K-8 students will spend more time in childcare than class. Authorities received repeated warnings in months before 3 young siblings were killed. Ramadan and vaccines, what Muslims in Southern California need to know. California lifts capacity limits on places of worship. Protester shot in testicles with Los Angeles Police Department projectile last summer files excessive force lawsuit. Former sheriff's deputy sentenced to 7 years in prison for leading fake drug raid. SUV pulled in the path of big rig in Imperial County crash that killed numerous migrants, NTSB says. We hope you are enjoying this news podcast. Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. You just heard from the top 15 most popular news websites in the world. More, from other news sources, is up next. Next, Reddit World News. Reddit is a user collective which claims over 430 million active users per month, and these are the top voted stories today. Egypt seizes the Ever Given, saying its owners owe nearly $1 billion for Suez Canal traffic jam. The number of one-horned rhinos in Nepal's wildlife sanctuaries has increased by more than 100, marking a positive milestone in the Himalayan nation's conservation efforts. NATO, not Russia, will decide if Ukraine joins, Stoltenberg says. NATO tells Russia to stop military buildup around Ukraine. Alliance warns about largest massing of Russian troops since annexation of Crimea. Russia says U.S. warships should steer clear of Crimea for their own good. Russia calls U.S. an adversary, warns its warships to avoid Crimea. U.S. recommends pause for Johnson & Johnson vaccine over clot, reports CBC News. Taiwan launches shipbuilding program amid China threats. EU rebuffs Montenegro plea to help repay $1 billion Chinese highway loan. We are not repaying the loans they are taking from third parties, says European Commission. Taiwan says China flew 25 warplanes into its airspace in the largest breach yet. Airborne plastic pollution spiraling around the globe, study finds. Russia warns U.S. warships to steer clear of Crimea for their own good. World's biggest rabbit stolen from home in Worcestershire. New Zealand government set to announce the end of live animal exports. Beijing has a navy it doesn't even admit exists, experts say, and it's swarming parts of the South China Sea. The next headlines are from Forbes. BTS, Demi Lovato, Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande, 5 moves on the UK singles chart. Leggings open up on selling Braithwaite, on Nasiri and growing from Madrid. Experts say pausing J&J shot should increase vaccine confidence, but polling shows it likely won't. Several states halt Johnson & Johnson vaccine after U.S. regulators recommend pause. Sports World reacts to killing of Daunte Wright. We keep hearing this cancel culture stuff, but we're canceling Black Lives. COVID versus coal. Has the pandemic accelerated Europe's green energy transition? Decisions await regarding 3 high-profile Chicago Cubs players. Toronto Maple Leafs continue fairy tale ride to top of NHL's North Division. Here's what we know about Kim Potter, the Minnesota officer who shot Daunte Wright. Cruz, Holly introduce MLB antitrust bill in retaliation for pulled All-Star game. The next headlines are from Nature.com. How junior scientists can land a seat at the leadership table. More floods, fires and cyclones plan for domino effects on sustainability goals. My most memorable mentors, clients. The United States can help the IMF to rethink how it lends. Add Himalaya's Grand Canyon to China's first national parks. Toilets, what will it take to fix them? Quantum computing's reproducibility crisis, major ANA fermions. The easy test that predicts the size of your next few meals. Thousands protest against funding cuts to SDG work. Social and political justice hit by UK aid cuts. The World Population Update. Currently, we are increasing by over 220,000 people a day, expecting to reach 8 billion in 2023. At the time this report was generated, the population was estimated to be 7,698,389,461 humans. Worldometers.info says there are 195 countries at this time and, of those, the top 10 with the largest populations are, in order, China, India, the United States, Indonesia, Pakistan, Brazil, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, and then Mexico. The next headlines are from Variety. Mick Jagger and Dave Grohl drop surprise pandemic anthem, Easy Sleazy. Republic Records names Brett Alpero its executive VP of A&R. Snoop Dogg remembers DMX on Fallon, he's finally got his angel wings. The Weeknd named Songwriter of the Year at ASCAP Pop Awards, Post Malone circles his top song. Kris Jenner recalls Caitlyn Jenner's transition and being her kid talent manager. Fortnite maker Epic Games raises $1 billion in funding, including $200 more from Sony. Visions derail world premiere Little Palestine, Diary of a Siege acquired by Lightbox exclusive. Global Citizen sets Vax Live special with Selena Gomez, Jennifer Lopez, H.E.R., Foo Fighters and J Balvin from SoFi Stadium. Netflix revamps kids' profiles to add character-based favorites row on TVs. Roku now sells a rechargeable remote with a voice-activated Find feature. The following headlines are from NPR, National Public Radio. Biden to nominate Christine Wormuth as first female Secretary of the Army. Watch Live, Chauvin defense expected to start presenting at murder trial. India's crusade to save babies and moms in the pandemic. Cinerama Dome among ArcLight, Pacific theaters to close due to pandemic losses. Consumer prices jumped, should you worry? That's sparking a heated debate. Officer Billy Evans lies in honor at Capitol where he served and was killed. U.S. recommends pausing use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine over blood clot concerns. Japan to dump wastewater from wrecked Fukushima nuclear plant into Pacific Ocean. He tried to organize workers in China's gig economy. Now he faces 5 years in jail. Comic, for music teacher, virtual school meant teaching kids to hear the way I hear. The following headlines are from The Week. The Week's Best Parenting Advice, April 13, 2021. White House says Johnson & Johnson pause won't affect federal vaccination plan. John Boehner reveals he voted for Trump in 2020. Pausing the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is wildly irresponsible. Selena Gomez to host concert pushing for equitable COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Is the FDA overestimating the risks of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine? UK coronavirus strain no deadlier among hospitalized patients, study suggests. U.S. calls for Johnson & Johnson vaccine pause after 6 blood clotting cases. The Daily Business Briefing, April 13, 2021. Will McConnell grovel before Trump to unite the Republican Party? The following headlines are from the Texas Observer. Young Moon's strange novels cross continents. The next headlines are from Universe Today. The same technology could search for microbes in Mars rocks or under the ice on Europa. Trojan mission Lucy tested its solar panels for the first time. Those things are huge. Gaia finds 12 examples of Einstein crosses, galaxies being gravitationally lensed so we see them repeated 4 times. Brown dwarfs can spin so fast they almost tear themselves apart. OSIRIS-REx did one last close flyby of asteroid Bennu. It's almost time to come home. These are the news headlines for today, Tuesday, April 13th. This podcast is produced only in English at this time. As of 2020, the Ethnologue reference lists 7,117 different human languages, with English being the third most common, after Mandarin Chinese and Spanish. The following headlines are from earthsky.org. Mars helicopter flight postponed for software update. Possible life signs in the clouds of Venus. In mid-April, look west after sunset for Mars and the Moon. Leo, here's your constellation. Raindrop sizes similar on Earth and alien worlds. Great chance to spot a very young moon April 12th. Look for the legendary green flash. The next news is from Politico. U.S. to deploy 500 additional troops to Germany. J&J delays European vaccine rollout. Biden's first 100 days. How to stop a pandemic before it starts, illustrated. Iran to enrich uranium to 60%, highest level ever. White House, J&J pause won't have significant impact on vaccination pace. Unions eye Brookings, Urban Institute as push to organize think tanks grows. GOP could edge back from filibuster cliff on hate crimes bill. Feds recommend pausing J&J vaccine over blood clotting concerns. Canada denies it threatened Halifax Security Forum over proposed Taiwan award. The next headlines are from the Sydney Morning Herald in Australia. Scramble to recover after vaccine eggs in one basket. Napalm soars high solo. Caulfield Racecourse unveils $570 in sports, entertainment precinct plan. New online resources on consent and peer pressure for teachers and parents. In the Herald, April 14, 1956. Ambulance building sells for $700,000 above reserve. From the Archives, 1976, David Essex, Odd Man Out. Dex's, HomeCo boost healthcare property assets. Quite fractured recovery for next few months despite business condition uptick. Deal flow as investors look well ahead for growth. The next headlines are from MarketWatch. The Conversation, how Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth outlived the average British subject by 3 decades. Bookwatch, caregiving is a vital part of the nation's infrastructure like bridges and roads. Mark Hulbert, why Generation I, YOLO investors who've never seen a bear market, should worry us all. Capital Report, Johnson & Johnson pause will not have a significant impact on our vaccination plan, White House says. Outside the box, space infrastructure is the next investment frontier and SPACs are a launch pad. Optimism has huge risks, why new investors, excited by GameStop's roller coaster ride, should rethink their rose-colored glasses. The Moneyest, my fiancé's mother asked us to raise her 2 kids, as we live in a good school district and she has a gambling addiction, then she claimed their stimulus checks. Coronavirus update, U.S. COVID vaccine program faces setback with J&J jab, as experts say there is no cause for alarm. Outside the box, the madness of stock picking. Metal stocks, gold prices rise after higher than expected reading on U.S. inflation. Next, the top stories about patents and inventions. Willow delivers a new way for children to clean their teeth, PR Newswire. Brazil suspends drug patent extensions and reschedules key Supreme Court hearing for tomorrow, IM. The science behind the shot, biotech tools developed at Brookhaven Lab fundamental to making COVID-19 vaccines, Newswise. Leaders in tech and medicine honored by Novum AJN Awards for contributions to science, Newswise. From pencil sharpeners to a $539 M lawsuit, how big tech weaponized design patents, The Guardian. 5 best patent attorneys in Philadelphia, Kev's Best. Disclosing AI Inventions, Part 1, Identifying the Unique Disclosure Issues, Technology, United States, Mondac News Alerts. Could things actually be worse for Intel after $2 billion verdict? Texas lawyer, law.com. Amgen urges justices to leave Enbrel patent ruling alone, Law 360. Case, patents ownership, first Sayer, Bloomberg Law. The next headlines are from Quartz. In lockdown, people tuned into Twitch just to watch other people talk. China wants regular citizens to monitor online comments for harmful history. What can a boycott of the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics achieve? Canada is the next stop for Nigeria's first bus hailing startup. Fukushima water, lessons from Texas, $21 million moon rocks. When will India resume international flights? For Indians living on the margins, the fear of a lockdown is greater than that of COVID-19. While the Indian government was busy banning Chinese apps, Indians were busy buying Chinese smartphones. Water officials are begging Las Vegas to outlaw ornamental grass. All the big summer music festivals still on for 2021. The following headlines are from TechDirt. Wireless provider openly shares private data of 2 million subscribers. Iowa Senate approves bill that would add qualified immunity to the state law books. Activists say Biden camp taking too long to properly staff the FCC. FBI scores itself another lawsuit for using the no-fly list to punish a Lebanese man for not becoming an informant. Oh look, here's some more culture being cancelled, now thanks to the Second Circuit. Michigan AG using former Trump lawyer Sidney Powell's "no reasonable person would believe me" statements to seek sanctions against her. Daily Deal, the Learn Python and Django developer bundle. Ajit Pai should not still have his government Twitter account. Senators warn feebly regulated ad data is being exploited by governments worldwide. We are now about 1/3 of the way through this daily news headlines podcast, a free service. Here, next, are the top trending keywords in Google web searches for today, a different window on world events. The talk. Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Grit read. Sixers. All-American. Warriors. Metropolitan Museum of Art. Why did Wyatt drop out of Idol? Wyatt Pike. Chauvin trial. The next headlines are from RT, the first Russian news station in English. Suez Canal blockage proves relevance of alternative Russia-Iran-India trade route, Foreign Minister Lavrov says. France suspends flights with Brazil until further notice amid COVID variant concern. Johnson & Johnson delays COVID vaccine rollout in Europe as U.S. regulator investigates blood clot risk. Knockout motor, ex-UFC champion hits brakes on mocking clown Sterling to become first Russian owner of limited edition BMW car. U.S. will not need AstraZeneca COVID jab for vaccine rollout, Fauci says, as pharma giant suffers another setback. Dublin says limiting use of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 jab will have minimal impact on vaccine rollout. A gift to anti-vaxxers, Bojo angers Brits after claiming lockdown not vaccinations reduced COVID cases. U.S. to send 500 extra troops to Germany as early as fall, Pentagon chief says, as Berlin praises strong signal of solidarity. Stock futures sink after U.S. calls for pause of Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine rollout due to health issues. I came, Warsaw, I conquered, Belarusian MP says Poland wants to subjugate his country 2 centuries since collapse of empire. The next headlines are from Zero Hedge. Chinese regulators crack down on internet companies ordering them to rectify irregularities. Monetary policy blunder, not managing economic and financial outcomes equally. Russia warns U.S. warships to stay far away from Crimea for their own good. Blaine, investment guidelines for the zeitgeist market. Magna shares spike, company reported to be very near of contract with Apple. U.S. calls for pause on J&J COVID vaccine due to deadly blood clots. Google shadow bans searches for riots today following violent unrest in Minnesota. No more tightens leverage for some hedge funds clients as ECB starts asking questions. Crypto about to top Apple market cap as Bitcoin, Ethereum surge to new record highs. Rabo, when it comes to inflation, what one does and doesn't see is all political. The following headlines are from Al Jazeera, Middle East News. Vaxxed Hive, concert to help get 27M medical workers vaccinated. After 2020's BLM protests, real police reform proves a struggle. Russia's Navalny threatens to sue prison for withholding Quran. Nearly a million people facing severe hunger in Mozambique. Singapore's Grab agrees to record $40 billion SPAC merger. Protests continue across Pakistan over arrest of TLP leader. Inflation watch, U.S. consumer prices post biggest jump in 8 years. Fury in Armenia as Azerbaijan displays war trophies. How colonialism eroded Pakistan's history of religious fluidity. NATO warns Russia over forces near Ukraine. The next headlines are from Breitbart. Gretchen Whitmer lashes out with false smear after top advisor snubs edict, does spring break in Florida. Governor DeSantis, experts slam Google, YouTube for coronavirus censorship, we are not going to be silenced. Delling poll, European Court of Human Rights, compulsory vaccinations may be necessary in a democratic society. Hawley, freedom is protected when there's competition, not when there's monopoly. FDA, CDC call for immediate pause of Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine. FNC's Carlson, ADL, little gatekeepers on Twitter will fail to have this show pulled off the air. UN Chief Guterres, tax the rich to fund global coronavirus recovery. Austrian health minister steps down, complains of being overworked in COVID crisis. Hawaii gives green light for nurses to perform abortions. Delling poll, British pubs have reopened, but I shan't be having a pint to celebrate. The next headlines are from UPI News. Fellow customers purchase leads Missouri man to $100,000 lottery prize. Look, pieces of the Mackinac Bridge up for auction in Michigan. Watch, dressed up dummies race down ski slope at Oregon resort. Watch, pro bowler becomes first to convert a 7-10 split on TV since 1991. Watch, Idaho man stacks 34 bars of wet soap for Guinness World Record. Watch, small dogs chase trespassing bear out of California home. Watch, astronaut breaks Guinness record for longest time between spacewalks. Cat rescued after 18 days stuck in Arkansas tree. The following headlines are from goodnewsnetwork.org. New brain cancer immunotherapy shows promise in human trial, most patients saw no tumor growth for 3 years. They counted endangered rhinos in Nepal and the population has grown by 16%. Nearly retired couple adopts 7 siblings who just lost their parents, if not us, then who? Despite Zoom services, 82-year-old dresses like it's Easter Sunday every week for church, look. Mountains of garbage in Russia are being turned into fashionable accessories. You're tuned to No Views, daily automated podcast news. This is a report for Tuesday, April 13th. Thank you for listening. The next headlines are from Reddit Offbeat News. Illinois man finds mysterious 9-foot-tall tunnel beneath his home. Cat rescued after 18 days stuck in Arkansas tree. Brazil is building a new statue of Jesus, and it's going to be bigger than Rio's. Police, goat arrested after report of a break-in. Man who spent $1,500 to stay at Toronto Quarantine Hotel got COVID-19 anyways, infected whole family. The Who reunite with Heinz after 50 years to launch limited edition beans means the Who cans. World's biggest rabbit stolen from home in Worcestershire. Universities insist it's elitist to mark down bad spelling. BBC News, Prince Philip, the Vanuatu tribes mourning the death of their god. The next headlines are from a site called The Next Web. Fs aren't clean if they're charged with dirty energy. Get these controllers, chairs, and other cool gaming gear at savings up to 80%. Microsoft launches Surface Laptop 4 with your pick between Intel and AMD. Majority of European city slickers want to ban diesel and gasoline. This ultra-rare quasar pair could help explain how galaxies evolve. Houston, we have pizza, Domino's and Nero run self-driving delivery robots. Grab SPAC merger values the company at a whopping $40 billion. At last, there's an algorithm that's closer than ever to solving the traveling salesperson problem. Make purpose the heart of your strategy, even when your business is nosediving. Siri spills the beans on Apple's 4/20 event, Blaze IT LOL. The following headlines are from Science Daily. Study links structural brain changes to behavioral problems in children who snore. Frog species with 6 sex chromosomes offer new clues on evolution of complex XY systems. Ocean bacteria release carbon into the atmosphere. Spotting cows from space. Scientists watch 2D puddles of electrons emerge in a 3D superconducting material. Study reveals cancer immunotherapy patients at most risk of life-threatening side effects. Study reveals crucial details on skin-related side effects of cancer immune therapies. Road salts and other human sources are threatening world's freshwater supplies. Researchers engineer probiotic yeast to produce beta-carotene. Spanking may affect the brain development of a child. The next headlines are from Information Week. How 2020 impacted 2021's predictive modeling. Optimizing the CIO and CFO relationship. How Google Cloud might help the FinOps Foundation evolve. What cloud attacks have taught us about hidden compliance costs. This is a reading of news headlines. This broadcast was created on Tuesday, April 13th from over 100 sources, to give you a bigger picture of the news. The next headlines are from the Salt Lake Tribune. Scott D. Pierce, can the Uten finally win on American Idol? Maybe. Denise Fort, recycling water can starve rivers in the West. Utah finalist quits American Idol. Here's why Utah students will likely keep their masks on until summer. Letter, President Dallin Oaks, Senator Lee, party loyalty and conscience. The triple team, Jazz disappoint defensively, Mitchell Reed's need work and loss to Wizards. As fatigue sets in for the Utah Jazz, their defense pays the price. U.S. recommends pause for Johnson & Johnson vaccine over rare clot reports. Tweaked COVID vaccines in testing aim to fend off variants. Letter, establish an AmeriCorps-like program to reduce student debt. The next headlines are from Slashdot, Tech News for Nerds. U.S. recommends pause for J&J vaccine over clot reports. New Microsoft Surface Laptop 4 goes for battery life. Billions of smartphone owners will soon be authorizing payments using facial recognition. Google is removing its Play Movies and TV app from every Roku and most smart TVs. Researchers create light waves that can penetrate even opaque materials. Human taste buds can tell the difference between normal and heavy water, study finds. Apple working on combined TV box, speaker to revive home efforts. Intel CEO calls for moonshot to boost U.S. role in chipmaking. Tesla drastically increases price of solar roof. The next headlines are from Fox St. Louis. Nelly to appear on Crown Candy Kitchen's episode of Restaurant Recovery on Discovery Plus. Kirkwood receives $1.5 million grant to renovate historic train station. Missouri, Illinois pauses use of Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine. Alton man discovers mysterious 19th century era tunnel beneath his property. Crash on eastbound 364 caused delays Tuesday morning, all lanes now reopened. Group that helps severely wounded veterans to celebrate 10th anniversary at Union Station Gala. St. Louis City turns bill for sexual assault awareness tonight. U.S. recommends pause on Johnson & Johnson vaccine use over blood clots. No confidence resolution against St. Louis County Police Chief Mary Barton on County Council meeting agenda. White House report gives Missouri and Illinois infrastructure C grade. These are the current headlines from the world's most interesting news websites. Thank you for listening. The next headlines are from Fox San Diego. Off-duty nurse helps mother deliver baby in California parking garage. 3 schools move to online learning after fugitive holds up on campus. U.S. recommends pause for J&J vaccine over clot reports. It hasn't stopped. Local BLM supporters echo calls for justice, police reform. Police, fugitive may be among suspects in vehicle pursuit shooting. Man gets prison term for charging cop with crowbar during traffic stop. Why some people should return their stimulus checks. San Diego zoo worker bitten by venomous snake. California lifts COVID-19 limits on indoor worship services. San Diego Unified fired up to have students back on campus. The next headlines are from spooknews.com. Today's headlines and commentary. Biden names 2 ex-NSA officials for senior cyber positions. Iran terms Israeli cyber attack on nuke facility as nuclear terrorism. Tim Cook says Apple is not against digital advertising. Camera pens and other spy gadgets prove popular at Las Vegas store. Skyfall cast, Daniel Craig, Judi Dench and others who play pivotal roles. The busy behind-the-scenes preparations for Philip's funeral. Pete Hoekstra, no spying on Americans, here's how we stop Biden admin from misusing intelligence community. Hip-hop loves Cash App, and that might be why Jack Dorsey book title. How will James Bond movies plot be twisted with release of No Time to Die? Find out. The following headlines are from Defense Blog. Russia concerned over emergence of Turkish combat drones in Ukraine. Russia newest radar system spotted in downtown Orenburg. U.S. Army awards contract to Lockheed Martin for new Stinger warheads. Lockheed Martin secures $447 M contract for MH-60R helicopters for South Korea. Meme humor helps Ukrainians cope with fears of possible Russian offensive. The next headlines are from SupChina, top news about China. Aim up to sweep away one sexual harasser. A day in the life of a Beijing delivery driver. Genki Forest's sugar-free label claims turn sour. China CDC director worries about not high vaccine efficacy, but says his remarks were taken out of context. Olivia fined $2.8 billion in landmark antitrust case. Are Beijingers worried about climate change? Documenting China's U.S. Capitol-inspired buildings. Better dead than red, Rose Namajunas says ahead of Zhang Weili fight at UFC 261. This is the No Views, daily automated podcast news. Today, in the GMT time zone, is Tuesday, April 13, 2021. Now, more headlines. The next headlines are from KRON4 San Francisco. Food Network recipe for popcorn and mayo salad causes a stir. USF expels student who hung news from dorm balcony. Marin County Fairgrounds site won't use Johnson & Johnson vaccine for now. How does an officer use a gun instead of a taser? U.S. investigates whether 6 rare clot cases are linked to J&J vaccine. High fire danger, researchers say conditions are dangerously dry. Berkeley works to reform police traffic enforcement. 2 dead in suspected DUI collision in Pittsburgh. Oakland City Council votes in favor of funding sideshow unit. The next headlines are from the Daily Herald. Prosecutors rest their case against ex-cop in Floyd's death. State suspends use of Johnson & Johnson vaccines amid concerns. Goloni becomes first woman as Reuters editor-in-chief. Pulse Technology names new marketing manager. MLB hires Brian Stedman from Pro Wrestling to head strategy. Stocks are mixed as regulators pause J&J vaccine rollout. On Engineering, Scram receives 2021 R.A. Brannan Award. Vending veteran Mark Minaglia joins Ov's cause. U.S. recommends pause for J&J vaccine over clot reports. COVID-19 hospitalizations up 24% from a week ago, while teens face vaccine challenge. The following headlines are from Seattle PI. Spooky sites, exploring Washington's ghost towns, abandoned areas. 4 people, including 2-year-old shot in Seattle's Central District. The next alerts are from the Global Disaster Alerting and Coordination System, a cooperative effort from disaster managers worldwide. Drought is ongoing in Bolivia, Brazil. Drought is ongoing in Mexico. Drought is ongoing in Malawi, Mozambique. Drought is ongoing in Iraq, Syria, Turkey. Drought is ongoing in Madagascar. Drought is ongoing in Afghanistan, China, Iran, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. Drought is ongoing in Angola, Congo, DRC, Namibia, Zambia. Green alert for Tropical Cyclone 221. Population affected by Category 1, 120 km per hour, wind speeds or higher is 0. Volcanic eruption is ongoing for Soufriere St. Vincent and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You are hearing the No Views, daily automated podcast news. Today is Tuesday, April 13th in the Greenwich Mean Time zone. Headlines here were found today in news feeds from around the world, but we do focus on the USA, one of the world's current 195 countries. Now, more news. The next headlines are from ABC Houston. Congress honors second Capitol Police officer slain this year. Watchel Hive. Our America, climate of hope. Can your employer make vaccinations mandatory? Here's what expert says. FDA and CDC call for pause on Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine after blood clot reports. Nike wants to resell your lightly worn shoes in some stores. Youth baseball team forced to drop out of tournament over vaccine requirement. Spring Branch ISD teacher disciplined for using racist term in English class lesson plan. Chicago soccer player says she and boyfriend were racially profiled by security after dash match in Houston. Multiple chances for needed rainfall this week. The following headlines are from China Post, top news about China, Taiwan and the world. Vanderbilt hires Shea Ralph from UConn as new women's coach. Facebook users can appeal harmful content to Oversight Board. 16 states back Alabama's challenge to census privacy tool. Syrian leader sacks central bank chief amid currency crash. Stocks off to a weak start following pause in J&J vaccine. Muslims mark Ramadan amid virus surge and new restrictions. Swiss program plots post-COVID future for science, diplomacy. Consumer prices jump 0.6% in March, biggest gain since 2012. The following headlines are from The Gothamist. Early edition, toilet paper sales are spiraling downward. 4 million Canadian dollars in early TV ads lift a struggling mayoral campaign in 2021. NYC launches new free summer program to help prepare students for return to school. What the Johnson & Johnson pause means for NY's vaccine rollout. Citing her own family story, Catherine Garcia calls for changes to foster system. Extra extra, who will you be after the pandemic? Map, here's where the COVID variants are spreading most in NYC. MTA employee claims he was suspended, forced into rehab for using legal medical marijuana. Coronavirus statistics, tracking the epidemic in New York. This is a criminalization of poverty, Stringer and others denounce Yang's remarks on unlicensed street vendors. We hope you are enjoying this podcast. If you have a suggestion for a new RSS feed we should add, please leave it in a comment on our YouTube page. The next headlines are from globalissues.org. Rights experts sound alarm over Uganda brutal election crackdown. New report calls for improved eating habits in a world of extremes. Only multilateral cooperation can stop harmful tax competition. Myanmar heading towards a full-blown conflict, UN Human Rights Chief warns. Review disproportionate and unwarranted measures, rights experts urge Cambodia. Volcanic eruption leaves entire population of St. Vincent without clean water. The Barilla Foundation brings health and climate together in new double pyramid. COVID complicates efforts to shut down drug traffickers, boost the development. Reasonable grounds to believe Syrian military helicopter deployed chemical weapon, OPCW. COVID long way from over as cases and deaths surge, WHO. The next headlines are from blacklistednews.com. U.S. COVID contract details are a trade secret, according to the contractors. Tucker Carlson, the ADL supports replacement theory when it comes to Israel. Protests erupt for second night after fatal police shooting in Minneapolis suburb. Sweden axes Gates' mad global warming scheme. Oligarchy, over 100 Wall Street titans conspire anonymously to undermine electoral reform laws. Japan decides to dump 1 million tons of radioactive Fukushima water into the Pacific, IAEA approves. CNN, Ukrainian trains with heavy weapons going east are Russian aggression. 2021 BLM riots, Day 2, Dollar Tree looted for Dante, police battle with rioters in Minnesota. Connecting the DHS to the airline industry. The following headlines are from Snopes, a fact-checking service. Does Ronald McDonald have a different name in Japan? Is a chipmunk pig a real hybrid animal? Leaders of GM, Ford among objectors to voting restrictions. U.S. recommends pause for Johnson & Johnson vaccine over clot reports. Fox stands behind Tucker Carlson after ADL urges his firing. Explainer, how does an officer use a gun instead of a taser? U.S. budget deficit jumps to record $1.7 trillion this year. Tennessee school shooting kills 1, wounds police officer. Georgia sheriff, 3 officers wounded, 1 suspect dead, 1 held. We are now about 2/3 of the way through today's news headlines. When everything is working, this feed will auto-update 3 times per day. Join us daily to stay informed. The next headlines are from the Daily Beast. The truth about Philip and Fergie's bitter feud. Dante Wright mentor wishes he would have told him about police and Minnesota's air freshener law. FDA freezes Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine rollout after 6 blood clot cases after 7 million doses. Top Kremlin mouthpiece warns of inevitable war with U.S. over another Ukraine land grab. Crazy about tacos? Then you'll love Oaxacan memelas. These twin comedians are taking the Oscars by storm. Arizona is already in a new normal. Netflix's new docu-series My Love Will Make You Cry Like a Baby. Honeydew is a deranged vegan horror movie starring Steven Spielberg's son. Donald Trump turned the GOP into Matt Gaetz's freak flag party. The next headlines are from the New York Post. RHONJ star Margaret Joseph says her mom is proud of her new book. Authorities were warned about California mom accused of killing 3 kids. Stephen Curry breaks Wilt Chamberlain's scoring record with 10-minute explosion. Christina Aguilera hated being super skinny in the 90s. Siri leaks date of next Apple event, and it's just around the corner. The following headlines are from astronomy.com. How do scientists build the best diet for astronauts? 40 years since the first space shuttle mission, STS-1. Let's go, remembering Yuri Gagarin's first space flight, 60 years later. You're tuned to the No Views, daily automated podcast news. If you are hearing this, you found something super unknown. Congratulations. Now back to the headlines. The next science headlines are from CBS News. Japan to dump radioactive water from Fukushima plant into ocean. Software fix planned for Mars helicopter. 3 sites pause use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine over adverse reactions. Pandemic puts mental toll on emergency health workers, report says. Worldwide COVID infections rising due to new virus variants. U.S. making strides in COVID vaccination efforts as Michigan grapples with a surge in cases. Michigan's lieutenant governor on why extra vaccines should be sent to harder-hit states. Questions emerge over level of protection vaccines offer against COVID variants. Michigan becomes COVID epicenter as cases skyrocket. Dr. Ashish Jha discusses concerning COVID surges in Michigan, vaccines. The next headlines are from the New York Daily News. CIT, close flying asteroid lights up South Florida sky. Russian prison officials threaten to force-feed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny nearly 2 weeks into hunger strike. Virginia AG launches civil rights probe of cops who detained, pepper-sprayed Black Army lieutenant. NYC mayoral candidate Eric Adams to get coveted endorsement from Uniformed Fire Officers Association. New York pauses Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine over clotting cases, following federal advice. Nike seeks to reduce carbon footprint of their shoes. At least 40 people arrested during second night of protests sparked by officer-involved shooting of Daunte Wright. Protesters stay past curfew at Minnesota police station after fatal shooting of Daunte Wright. Cop who fatally shot Daunte Wright accidentally fired gun instead of taser, police chief says. Mayor calls for cops dismissal. Police officer who shot Daunte Wright has been identified. The following headlines are from military.com. How the pandemic changed military recruiting forever. Army chief defends long-range missile effort after Air Force general's public attack. Sailor who shot, killed himself at Hawaii resort identified. 48,000 Marines have turned down COVID-19 vaccine, Corps says. Public recruit graduations will resume at San Diego boot camp, Marines say. Taliban not ready to meet Afghan government in Turkey as U.S. wants. Sailor's suicide is the 3rd tied to Hawaii's submarine force in past 16 months. Pentagon chief orders review of deadly 2020 attack in Kenya. Central American nations deploy troops to reduce migration. The next headlines are from the Chicago Tribune. You just became eligible for a COVID-19 shot. Try these vaccine hunter tips to score an appointment. Des Plaines man was driving 108 miles per hour when he caused crash that killed family of 3, police and prosecutors say. Watch live, Dr. Arwady, Chicago health officials give a COVID-19 update. Illinois, Chicago and Cook County pause distribution of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine after blood clotting cases. Chicago man charged with murder and killing of 75-year-old during robbery in Rogers Park. 19-year-old man killed in Bronzeville shooting is identified. Coronavirus in Illinois updates. Here's what's happening Tuesday with COVID-19 in the Chicago area. Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine in Illinois. 16-hour armed standoff with police in Morton Grove ends with man taken into custody. Ramadan during the pandemic. The following headlines are from FIS.org. Combining mask wearing, social distancing suppresses COVID-19 virus spread. Video, how to clear Earth's orbit of space debris. Megafauna extinction mystery unlocked. The role of hydrophobic molecules in catalytic reactions. Similar phage communities in human and primate intestines. Superbug killer, new nanodex destroys bacteria and fungal cells. How can social media and influencers contribute towards societal good? Shedding light on the role of undesired impurities in gallium nitride semiconductors. Using emotion and humor to combat science misinformation. The relationship between ENSO and Indian summer monsoon rainfall is re-strengthening. Thank you for listening and for staying informed. This audio was produced today, Tuesday, April 13th, in the GMT time zone. The next headlines are from Discover magazine. How to start bird watching in your city. Best fat burner for women, complete buyer's guide. How do scientists build the best diet for astronauts? More and larger explosions rock St. Vincent as La Salle Fryer lets loose pyroclastic flows. 5 best testosterone boosters for men over 50. The next headlines are from the Seattle Times. U.S. agency says women can get abortion pill via telemedicine. Sioux hires first-time coach Eddie George hoping for revival. And Macedonia, ex-spy chief, others jailed for abuse of power. Red Sox Twins Series 2 begin, Wednesday doubleheader added. Boeing wins orders and resumes 787 deliveries as March hints at positive momentum. EU lacking sufficient electric cars charging infrastructure. Indians 1B Chang receives racist tweets after making error. Artist gives nature a cosmic twist in Big NY Garden Show. The following headlines are from MercuryNews.com. Bay Area TV Sports, what to watch on Wednesday, Thursday. Crash between car, bicycle causes partial closure of Lafayette intersection. Consider the dangers before letting cats outside. Verve Coffee co-founder talks beans, brews and expansion. California's ArcLight Cinemas and Pacific Theaters to close for good. Derek Chauvin trial, watch live streaming video here. Week 6 high school football rankings, Bay Area News Group Top 25. Man arrested in Northern California after 16 live and dead dogs found in his SUV. Exclusive, drone photos and video of new housing development at Alameda Point. Niles, did Disney actually make a real lightsaber? The next headlines are from the Washington Times. Spokesman, New Mexico pausing administration of J&J vaccine. New Hampshire pauses J&J vaccines, works to replace them. FDA says pause of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine to investigate clots to last matter of days. Survey, nearly 1 in 3 contribute to a crowdfunding drive. Biologists use huge nets in Mississippi River to remove carp. Missouri pauses J&J COVID-19 vaccine administration. Vermont State Police trooper pleads not guilty to assault. Vermont delays virus briefing to learn more about J&J pause. Anchorage to lift all limits on outdoor gatherings. France suspends all Brazil flights due to virus variants. The next headlines are from The Intercept. The journalist and the whistleblower. Chicago awaits video of police killing a 13-year-old boy. Minneapolis curfew sows confusion for those with COVID-19 vaccine appointments. Senator Mark Kelly is emerging as an obstacle to the PRO Act. Biden looks to extend Trump's bolstered mandatory minimum drug sentencing. This is No Views, daily automated podcast news. You are hearing headlines for Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Now more. The next headlines are from Eureka Alert. Influence of sea surface temperature in the Indian Ocean on air quality in the Yangtze River Delta region. Habitual snoring linked to significant brain changes in children. COVID-19 news from Annals of Internal Medicine. Researchers' work will help the pipeline industry limit the destructive power of bubbles. Silk moth's diapause reverts back to ancestors through gene editing. Liver transplants, improving waitlist mortality by improved risk assessment. People may trust computers more than humans. Skoltech studies collective behavior of nanosatellites. The next headlines are from the Chicago Sun-Times. Cook County, city, states suspend use of J&J vaccine. Kyle Schwarber gets an RBI in his debut with the Nationals. J.K. Rowling's The Christmas Pig children's story due in October. Cook County temporarily halts Johnson & Johnson vaccine after FDA recommends pause. Hive updates. Armed standoff at Morton Grove home after police try to arrest man for domestic battery. Elevate this weeknight chicken soup with the addition of orzo. Police release photos of suspects in burglary at Nordstrom on the Magnificent Mile. Dear Abby, wife raises a stink when tattooed man gets even more ink. Woman struck in the head by armed carjackers at gas station in Ravenswood. Chicago corruption movie had big producer, wonderful script, but not enough money. The feed from the Riverfront Times St. Louis has been removed for putting advertisements in its news RSS feed. Dave Owens brings a chef's sensibilities to THC-infused edibles. Jeffco suspect help hide body of missing St. Louis man, sheriff. St. Louis Tower Grove Pride Festival has been bumped to September. Biden White House gives Missouri C in infrastructure while pitching American jobs plan. Bull Rush and Tiny Chef team up for a brunch pop-up to benefit Planned Parenthood. The next headlines are from Detroit Metro. Legal observers say they were brutalized by Detroit police during police brutality protests. Here's how you can get your marijuana-related criminal convictions expunged in Michigan. Ann Arbor Council member admonished for homophobic slur on social media. UP man arrested for allegedly participating in deadly January 6th riot. Experts say mistrust of authority and misinformation is fueling COVID-19 in Michigan. Immersive dinner and drinks pop-up brings a certain galaxy far, far away to Hazel Park's frame. COVID-19 vaccine outreach expands for Michigan's homebound. You are hearing today's news headlines. These headlines are for Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Now more. The next headlines are from the Houston Press. Hurricane forecasters predict another busy season. 4 thoughts. 4 areas the Houston Texans have actually upgraded this offseason. Invincible, animated series challenging our idea of superheroes. Happy Hour by the Bay, Pier 6 and Bayview Duck. Beautiful Grit, Black Lung Lucy album release. Houston Chronicle fires Texans reporter who likened Deshaun Watson accusers to terrorists. Deshaun Watson legal drama, Week 5, April 12th to 16th, preview. Controversial Arab murder simulator coming to consoles. Rick Lee still drumming away 55 years after. This week in Houston food events, ringing Thai New Year with traditional eats and more. The next headlines are about world records making news. On this day, Paula Radcliffe sets world record at London Marathon, Sports Mole. New Fastnet record confirmed, Scuttlebutt Sailing News, Scuttlebutt Sailing News. Swiss strike gold with world's smallest commemorative coin, FIS.org. Australia has a new world record for green electricity generation, Tech Valid. How to break world records at home, tips from record holder David Rush, Guinness World Records. Guinness World Records biggest rabbit stolen from home as police hunt for culprit, ABC News. Intel Rocket Lake allows for new world record RAM overclock of a staggering 7,156 MHz, Tech Radar. On this day in 2003, Paula Radcliffe sets new world record at London Marathon, Yahoo Eurosport UK. De Linden going for 50k world best Tuesday and it should be an official world record, letsrun.com. This BC singer just set a new world record for the lowest note sung by a woman, CBC. The next headlines are from Gizmodo. Tuesday's best deals: AirPods Pro, Aki wireless power bank, Mortal Kombat 11, Lego Architecture Statue of Liberty, Dyson V7 Animal, Tree Hut sale, and more. U.S. health regulators call for pause of J&J vaccine over possible rare blood clotting risk. These microscopic maps of 3D printed metals look like art. They may be a glimpse of the future. What you need to know about Flock, the targeting tech Google plans to drop on us all. The fossil fuel industry is racist. A Black Adam star teases another familiar DC hero in the cast. Blaze it, Siri leaks the next Apple event date is 4/20. The new Microsoft Surface 4 embraces both Intel and AMD. Roku's new rechargeable voice remote Pro is almost perfect, with one major catch. How to fix someone's computer when you cannot visit them. What place in the world had the hottest and coolest temperatures today? According to ElDoradoWeather.com, the hottest place on Earth in the past 24 hours was Matam in Senegal at 116.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 47 degrees Celsius. The coldest recorded weather temperature on Earth in the past 24 hours was Vostok in Antarctica at minus 95.44 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 70.8 degrees Celsius. The following headlines are from Ars Technica. Polestar expands the Polestar 2 lineup, adds a single-motor variant. J&J COVID vaccine use was due to 1 in a million complication. Roku's latest streaming device gives 4K, HDR, and a voice remote for $40. Microsoft makes the Surface Laptop 4 official, offers choice of AMD or Intel. The era of reusability in space has begun. This is Intel's plan to dominate driverless car technology. New wooden satellite is part advertising, part student project. Report, Apple plans Apple TV HomePod and iPad HomePod hybrid products. Free Software Foundation and RMS issue statements on Stallman's return. It's too late for vaccines to save Michigan, CDC director explains. The following headlines are from Raw Story. Prosecution rests case in George Floyd murder trial. Matt Gaetz tied to ghost candidate scandal in Florida, New York Times. MAGA writer in more trouble after he used jail monitor device to tell family he was proud of what he did. Mike Lindell's free speech social media site bans swearing, porn and taking God's name in vain. Biden administration using Trump playbook on the GOP and there is nothing they can do about it, report. Trump-loving Huntington Beach official blames White Lives Matter rally on Democrats after being accused of empowering the KKK. Johnson & Johnson delays COVID-19 vaccine rollout in Europe. Oklahoma teacher calls student the N-word during bizarre altercation, and it's caught on video. Morally bankrupt John Boehner faces brutal backlash after he reveals he voted to re-elect Trump. Top white nationalists heap praise on Tucker Carlson's perfect great replacement monologue. The next headlines are from Mother Jones. A superhero pirate radio host is Gavin Newsom's strangest and most dangerous threat. The NCAA signals it might remove championships from states that target trans athletes. A really tragic thing, Biden reacts to Daunte Wright's death. Police in Minnesota suburb where Daunte Wright was killed rely on policies designed to protect cops. Democrats' next plan to get Biden's agenda over the finish line, fire the scorekeeper. A year later, it's still impossible to tell how many food workers are contracting COVID-19. Ocean warming is making equatorial waters uninhabitable. The next items are today's top search results for extraterrestrial life. UFO reports surged during the pandemic, The New York Times. Grimes' new back tattoo turns heads, beautiful alien scars, Los Angeles Times. The following items are today's top search results for the term neural plasticity. Research uncovers on-off switch that controls when neurons can change and grow, phys.org. What foods are good for brain development in kids, medical news today. How compassion fatigue affects lawyers and what they can do about it, Canadian Lawyer magazine. Astrocyte cells in the fruit fly brain are an on-off switch that controls when neurons can change and grow, The Conversation US. We are nearing the end of this broadcast. This report is for Tuesday, April 13, 2021 in the GMT time zone. What cities are in that time zone? Well, Reykjavik, Iceland, for one. You might wonder if our server is in Reykjavik. It could be. The following is from the UFO Chronicles. Did the Navy film triangular-shaped UFOs? That's it for now. Thanks for enjoying today's newsfeed headlines. This, indeed, has been a No Views, daily automated podcast newscast for Tuesday, April 13, 2021. Bookmark us and tune in each day to our free automated podcast to find out what's going on, around, and, sometimes, light years, beyond the Earth. Fair use statement. News i8 is a US-based educational not-for-profit news site. We use only parts of content, in transformative ways and without market usurpation. This means you are still going to want to read the original if you are interested in it beyond the headline and any comments we make. We provide links to original sources wherever possible. If you have any copyright concern, please contact us via our About page for immediate remedy. Contact us, Zeno at XENOMAILS 2021 by News i8. All rights reserved. Instagram,